What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing another Killstreak breakdown, this time once again taking a look at some more subscriber gameplay. Today we're going to be looking at a 59 kill streak with DARTH MAUL on Hoth, and this gameplay comes from SC Kenobi, so I'll leave a link to the original Killstreak on his channel if you guys do want to go and show him some love. Now, as always, if you guys want to submit your own gameplay to be broken down, then there is a link in the description of all of my videos. I generally only do streaks between around 40 to 75, just because that is a very obtainable kill streak for any newer or less experienced players to get. So if you do have any kill streaks in that range and you want me to break them down, then be sure to submit those to the link in the description. As is the case with all of these Killstreak breakdowns, I want to give a shout out to my partners in Glitch Energy. I actually drink Glitch myself whenever I'm trying to get some footage because it does give me some laser focus and a big kick of energy. So if you guys do want to try some for yourself, head to the first link in the description, and if you use code SAMMY at checkout, you can actually save yourself 25% off any purchase. So be sure to go and check that out, guys. But with that out of the way, let's not waste any more time and let's get stuck into the gameplay. So like I mentioned earlier, we are obviously looking at this Killstreak here on Hoth, and the reason I chose this one is essentially just because of that, because it is on Hoth and it is a really good Killstreak as well. But Hoth just isn't a map that I generally see a lot of Killstreaks on, and I think it is a pretty hard map to play, especially with Saber heroes. I think if you're playing as someone like Iden, for example, you can obviously play a little bit better at that longer range, and this outside area as a Saber hero is really hard to do. So that was the main reason behind choosing this one, mostly just because the only Killstreaks that you really see on Hoth are from those top tier players, and so they are definitely a little bit less, regular of an occurrence than a Killstreak like Kashyyyk or Endor, for example. Now, he does a really good job here of sort of guarding each of these entrances and kind of like switching between each one. You don't want to stay in the same spot, as people are going to hunt you down, and if you get a bunch of kills in one spot, like I always say, they're going to sort of know that you're there. So you can see him sort of over on this right side, but then as he picks up a few kills, he does start to move over to the left side of the map, and this is the best way, especially in this sort of awkward waiting phase, or you're kind of waiting for the phase to move on to the second phase. It is a really good idea to just sort of jump in between those two areas and don't just, hang around the doors and stuff like that. So he does a really good job there, and they are obviously on to the second phase here. And this, especially with the Saber heroes, where you can actually turn these kill streaks from a pretty, a hard kill streak with that opening area being pretty hard to stay alive into a pretty, I don't want to say easy kill streak, but one that is, a lot more safe because you are inside, and you will find a lot of enemies just sort of gathering up here. So this next phase is definitely very good for racking up those kills. Now, obviously, Maul's biggest strength is essentially just being a really agile character, and that's really how you want to play him. You want to constantly stay on the move and essentially try and almost be too fast for your enemies to shoot. Using that spin attack is obviously a great way to sort of avoid a lot of damage, but you can see here he does come up against Anakin, and he actually gets pretty low on health there, down to 280, but he actually played that perfectly, just falling back, holding the block when he needs to, and that is definitely the right way to do that. With someone like Maul, you don't really want to be going head to head with someone like Anakin. Obviously, you can definitely outplay Anakin if you know what you're doing and stuff like that, but it isn't that easy with a character like Maul. He's not necessarily built for those 1v1s. If you're playing as Vader, for example, then maybe in that situation you want to take on Anakin and take him out, as well as, getting back some health. But he did the right thing there, and as you can see, he's just moved straight into this other section of the map, and this is where he starts to really rack up a bunch of kills and get this kill streak on the right track. Now, you'll see here, once he's picked up these few kills, that Anakin does kind of come back, and these two do kind of just coexist with each other. They don't seem to have too much of an issue. Anakin's not really hunting him down or anything, so that's a really good thing to do, is just really just be aware of where the other heroes are. You don't have to try and kill them or run away. If they're close by, but you know that they're not really trying to kill you, then weirdly enough, you can kind of just sometimes coexist with them, as weird as that may sound. So he kind of did the right thing there by not trying to, chase Anakin when he's running away, but also, because he was running away, he didn't need to, like Maul didn't need to run away either. So that was really well played there, and as you can see, he's making the most of that. He's not outside trying to hide and stuff like that. He's still in the middle of all this, chaos in here, picking up a bunch of kills, and he's really progressing this kill streak along pretty nicely. Now, with that being said, you can see that he is still open to falling back when he needs to, so he is getting pushed there by the droid, and obviously he falls back and there's like 5 teammates just at the entrance there. So I think he's doing a really good job of being really aggressive, but just knowing if he's starting to get pushed, he can just sort of fall back and let them almost like draw the enemy towards his teammates. He seems to have really good situational awareness of where his teammates are at all times, and so like I said, when he's getting pushed, he just sort of holds that block and falls back a little bit, and then the enemies do push him, and then they go, oh shit, this is not worth it, because there's like 10 enemies there. And so yeah, he seems to have really good situational awareness, and you can see that all throughout. Like, he's kind of just switching sides of the map when he needs to. He's pushing when he needs to, and then when he is getting pushed himself, he's also, yeah, in a really good spot to be able to fall back as well. Now you can see here that Anakin does sort of start hanging around a little bit, and obviously they've captured that right objective, and so there's only one objective left. And I think he makes the decision here that, okay, I need to get rid of Anakin, and also BB-8's kind of hanging around as well. If Anakin just hangs around this objective and, you know, Maul leaves him alone, then obviously that's not going to end well for the team. They need to capture this one in order to move forward. And even if you're not playing for the objective and you don't really care about winning, if you want to extend your kill streak, then obviously the good thing to do is just play the objective, because that's going to make the game go on a lot longer. So as you could see there, he ended up deciding to take out Anakin. It worked out really well, and he sort of really just outplayed that Anakin, to be honest. And as you can see here, he's now starting to really pick this up. He's taken out Han as well, and yeah, his team is really in control of capturing that other objective, so he's being a little bit more free and almost just trying to cut off the enemies rather than hanging around the objective and doing all of that himself. Once you've taken out the enemies on an objective, obviously it's not, you know, in your best interest to actually just stay there and capture it. Depends on where it's up to, I guess, but you can see he's just kind of pushed around the map and tried to get a bunch of kills and essentially just cutting off the enemies from pushing into that objective. However, now he realizes there's actually no teammates doing their job, so he's doing his role, but the rest of the team isn't really helping. You can see here he's literally one of the only people on the objective. So after all that I've just said about him pushing around the map and, you know, trying to take out a bunch of enemies so that they can't get to the objective, unfortunately his teammates weren't doing their role, and so he had to push back in. As you can see, they are now capping it again, and you can see that he's constantly switching sides. He's not just staying on the objective, he's sort of helping get in there. Once he sees a few teammates on it, then he's pushing out and trying to get a few kills, and he's doing it really well. He's essentially, even though his teammates are helping, he's essentially doing everything himself right now. Like, this objective is essentially going to be completely captured by him, whether he's on it or not, because as you can see, he is just absolutely dominating the other team right here. And yeah, although he's not technically on the objective the whole time, this is how to play the objective as a hero. Depends who you are, obviously, but in this situation he's doing essentially the best thing you can do, which is just racking up a bunch of kills. You can see he's even distracting Obi-Wan here, and that's also a really helpful thing for your team by just, you know, drawing those enemies out. And as you can see, they do finally capture it. Unfortunately, they only had 19 tickets left, so his teammates really didn't do him any favors there by letting that get so low. But at the end of the day, he did everything essentially perfectly, and they did get it in the end. Now, I'll just fast forward through this little section because obviously this is that sort of awkward phase between each phase of the map. But as you can see, he's not waiting for the enemy team to set up. He's getting straight in there, and he's trying to lead his team out there. You can see that there are a bunch of enemies that were sort of like behind him, and then as he's pushing out, they are actually being able to sort of come out there with him. And yeah, he's doing the right thing here. You can see that he comes across Obi-Wan, takes out Obi-Wan. He's really just doing everything to try and help his team get the win here. It is completely up to the rest of them to do their jobs because he can't do literally all of it at once, but everything that's in his control, he's essentially taking it and yeah, doing it by himself. So this is pretty much a masterclass in my opinion of how to push into an objective and try and, you know, help your teammates get in there. Like I said, you can't do everything yourself, but if you can sort of clear the way for your teammates, as you can see, they are starting to move up there on the minimap, and that's really just the best way to give your team a chance at winning. Like I was saying at the start of the video, one thing he's doing really well throughout pretty much the entire kill streak is just constantly moving around, and I mean that in more ways than one. Obviously, moving between different areas of the map is a really good idea, and that's one way to sort of stop people from targeting you, as well as actually picking up more kills, because like I always say, people kind of tend to flock to the other side of the map to where the heroes are. So not only is he moving sides of the map, but he's also just constantly using that spin attack to essentially avoid damage. It is obviously an offensive ability, like you can use it to deal damage, but I'll be honest, I think it's more of a defensive ability. You can see that kind of every time he's in a close quarters area, he's just using that, and no one's going to be able to hit shots when you're moving at that speed, and obviously he's just using it in the perfect timing to where he's using it constantly, but he's never really running out of it. He's never spamming it to the point that he's got none left. So as you can see, it's worked out the whole way through the kill streak. He's just constantly using that at the right time. It really does come down to timing, to be honest. And I'd say he's done a pretty perfect job of using the timing for that spin attack. Now, as you can see, all three of the objectives have been planted, and like I was saying earlier, I feel like this is actually really just because of the way that he was playing. Like, he was pushing into each area, he kind of got to each objective, and although he didn't do a crazy amount on each objective. He did clear it out and let his teammates get in there, and then he just quickly moved on to the next one and did the same thing. And as you can see, they've got all 3 planted at once. So like I said, I honestly feel like this kill streak is the difference between him winning and losing. If he doesn't get that kill streak, I think they lose in the second phase there. But the fact that he was really just pushing around and constantly getting to every area of the map, and again, not doing too much. He's not sitting there and then like defending objectives. He's just kind of clearing it out, letting his teammates get in there. And even at times when they weren't getting in there, like in that second phase, he's kind of like going back and, you know, trying to reinforce the fact that they are safe to come in there. And he's really just playing his almost perfect role as a hero when you are on offense. So anyway, that is going to do it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below. And if you are new, then consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on. Like I mentioned earlier, be sure to check out glitchenergy.com if you guys do want to try some glitch for yourself. They have an awesome starter kit with a shaker and 7 flavors to try for only $15, and with my code, which is code SAMMY, that comes down to only about 11 or 12 bucks. So be sure to check that out, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Crush them! Make them suffer!